Ding, 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 ding.
He turned the car on in the garage, and my fucking porn came through the Bluetooth.
Ask her. I heard Dean Blundell smokes crack. Was actually the first to smoke it with Rob Ford, I heard, too.
What's Dean got to do with it? Frankly, my dear, I don't give a Dean.
It's rated R for, restricted and for a little bit romantic.
What do we got?
What is that in the background?
What is that over there by the mic?
Is he making wallets? What is he doing?
What's he doing?
It looks like he's... Never mind.
What's he doing? What? Is he dead?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Let's start right out. Hey, what happened?
Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name's Dean to the aforementioned Dean Blundell Show. There's Lachlan Cross. He's under me. He's under me. It's funny. James Di Fiore is next to Locke. And it says I'm James Di Fiore, but I'm not because I can do this. I can run the shit, but I can't change my name for some fucking reason. So I'll just be me for today.
You're a poser.
Sorry about that. And joining us on the show today, we're thrilled that he's here. Pollster for the PC Party, Mr. Nick Kouvalis. Now, am I saying that right, Nick? Are you a pollster for the PC Party? Because when I said, "Hey, we're having Doug Ford's pollster on," you're like, "I don't work for the dude," and I'm like, "Okay, so let's figure this out." So we've got a whole bunch of stuff to cover. I want to know everything about what a pollster does. We're going to get into that. I want to know about your relationship with the PC Party here in the province of Ontario. I want to know about polling and how it works. We're going to talk about getting high, eating rotten meat. We're going to revisit some people putting gas in plastic bags today. We're going to have a great time, Nick. Really thrilled you're here.
Okay, great.
Nick, I'll start. I get the first question.
All right.
Yes.
Do you get free Tim Hortons?
Yeah, great question.
Where would I get free Tim Hortons from?
Tim Hortons.
He loves the egg sandwiches. I thought for sure that would have gone right through the whole.
I love the egg sandwiches too. Have you guys tried them?
Yeah, they're awesome. Actually, I get the bagel belt.
The McDonald's ones are better. Come on.
No. I really.
I think so. Yeah, I don't like the bread.
You say
I don't like
that?
the Tim Hortons bread.
Get a bagel. Then get it on a belt.
Did you guys know that the National Post published me last week a tweet that I tweeted about Tim Hortons? Did you guys hear about this?
No.
So they remember the whole Tim's ice brew or Tim's cold brew?
Yeah.
So it backfired on them. So the National Post did a whole story about all these mean tweets about it, and they put mine up there. Mine was all the nastiness of a typical cup of Tim Hortons coffee, only cold.
Nick, you don't agree? You're sitting there shaking your head.
I like Tim's.
Go ahead, Nick.
I like Tim's.
You do, yeah. You know what I was shocked about with not just Tim's, but all the people that are doing the breakfast egg bagels is that they weren't real eggs in the first place.
That was shocking to me too.
Well, they said they're like now we're using real eggs, Nick. Like, did you not feel like you were kind of shystered? Thinking the whole time you were having those breakfast belts, you were getting real eggs to begin with.
How many people care? Like they're hungry, they go to Tim's, they get the food.
I care. I wanted to have what the fuck were we eating before?
I don't know. It was powder, and they like mix water with it, and then they stick it in a little round thing, and then cook it up, and away you go. It
powdered
was
eggs.
like
It's not fucking eggs. You don't powder eggs.
I think it was.
Right?
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just happy that we get
welcome to the
real
show,
eggs
Nick.
now. Welcome, Nick. We just started with eggs. How are you, brother? You good? Yeah.
That was my fault.
Are you pandemicing well? Have you enjoyed it?
Am I? Yeah, I'm doing okay. Yeah. I know. Thanks for having me on. Glad to be here. I'm going to talk about my boring job, but
it's not that boring, dude.
It's not that
fun. Dude, you're working with the Conservative Party, is that correct? In Ontario?
Yeah.
Let's start.
Yeah.
So you are employed by the Conservative Party, correct?
So not exactly.
Okay.
I am technically employed by the PC Caucus Services. It's the legislature.
Okay.
The
Okay.
PC caucus legislature. So the Liberals have a bureau.
Mhm.
The NDP have a bureau. I'm not sure the Green has a bureau or not, because maybe it's only one person. But anyway, the parties normally have a caucus bureau.
Mhm.
And based on how many members are elected, that bureau gets a budget. And then that budget is always for all parties of over all time. And if we remember, the Liberals were in power for 15 years before Ford. They had the biggest budget, and they spend it on vendors who do opposition research, who do public opinion research, who do, make videos, who do advertising, who, they provide services to the legislature, the caucus, the PC caucus. So that's technically who my boss is. I think your initial question before we got on live was Doug Ford hired me. Certainly, Doug Ford could stop me from getting hired by PC Caucus Services because he could just tell the caucus he didn't want me. But Doug Ford technically is not my boss.
No, but do you meet with Doug Ford on a regular basis? Like, you're obviously a pollster, and I want to know exactly like the letter of the law what a pollster is. But do you obviously meet him and you take direction from him and the party if he's the premier, correct?
Take direction? I don't have anything to take direction on. I do the research. You got to understand, guys, like if you believe what the narrative is out there, the narrative is, this is not the truth necessarily all true, but the narrative is that the PC government has been slow to act on enforcing measures, COVID restrictions, implementing them, making them last longer. So all of my polling that's publicly available that I do with the Toronto Star every month, that's on my website, or I do with the Sun or the National Post, all of my polling says that they should have been doing those things. So it's kind of like me going to, my upset sister's house.
I like the honesty.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So okay, what is a pollster? Like, what do you do? Like, what is the job?
Well, there's different kinds of
pollsters.
So there's different kinds of pollsters, right?
Okay, yeah.
So first of all, right, like there's a lot of pollsters who don't do what I do. They do something totally different. So my area of polling, when it comes to party politics, and there's a few, the Liberals have their guys and the NDP have their guys, but I try to understand public opinion as it is today, and then through a process of tracking over time, I'm trying to predict a little bit out into the future what people think on a range of policy planks. Let's call them policy planks or policies. So from, supporting the carbon tax and protecting the environment and how those two things interrelate to, building roads, sewers, bridges, to building transit, to, putting more money into education to expand the school system or hire more teachers, and healthcare and broadband, northern issues, southern issues, different regions. So I'm looking at all that, and I'm trying to understand in my private practice too, for corporations, you've heard of like market segmentation. You guys I'm sure have done some market segmentation for this show and who the listeners are. Who the listeners are, what their demographics look like. And normally people think of it, okay, males, females, 18 to 35, 35 to 55, 55 and over. But I go a little bit deeper than that and really break down those segments into more specific segments. And I look at those voter clusters. I call them segments. Some people call them archetypes, and try to figure out how to get voters in that group to vote a certain way or not vote for someone. So that's kind of what I do on the research side. I have a nice, team of people at my company who does that. And we do that for a lot of political parties, not just conservative ones. We've worked for Liberals in the past. We do it for corporations. We do it for charities and nonprofits. And sometimes for a charity and nonprofit, it's really focused around fundraising, trying to help them figure out who should they be asking money from and how much should they be asking and how often. For politics, it's all about votes. For government, like for not the party and the campaign, but for government, it's about public policy and the right
issues, the
right mix of issues and how to keep government support up, not down. And so that's kind of, yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, but that's a good place to kind of start any.
Sort of, and it sounds like innocuous. It just sounds like a function of politics, that every political party has a pollster. The pollster then goes out and, reads trends and looks at statistics and then tries to figure out where the party needs to be according to certain subjects and where voters' intentions lie. That much I get. But why was everybody so pissed when Doug Ford's party, the Conservative Caucus, hired you? Because it was like 2-3 weeks ago you were on my radar, and I'm like, everybody fucking hates this guy. Yeah.
So first of all, how many pollsters do you know go on the Dean Blundell show?
None.
None. How many will sit there and drink coffee out of their Rob Ford for Mayor coffee cup?
One.
And how many pollsters do you know will actually have a cigarette while they're on your show?
Lots.
The Liberals are pissing their pants because they know I'm good at my job. That's why they're all pissed off.
So what do you mean? Like the Liberals started this giant hate campaign about you? Is that
actually where it started? So I'm glad you asked. So where it started. So a guy by the name of Richard Warnica, right? He's the reporter at the Star. He emailed me a series of questions not related to the story that you read. It started about a week earlier. Mm-hmm. And his questions were related to the 413 highway, and that I'm registered to lobby the government on behalf of a company called Bott Construction. Bott Construction is a 64-year-old infrastructure company that builds roads, is usually one company of many that build highways. And I was registered on the file for them because they're having problems with the bureaucrats on the 427 expansion. It's all there, publicly available. The fact that you're supposed to register and that I did, and when they say, what are you doing for this company? You type it all out, and then the registrar's office approves or asks for more information and clarification. The fact that I did that apparently is a problem for people because, like a lot of pollsters don't register. A lot of lobbyists lobby without registering, but because I'm me and who I am, that's where anyway, it had nothing to do with.
Well, what do you mean? Hold it. Let's back that up. What do you mean by because of me and who I am? Like, what are you drawing a line towards? Because I don't understand what that means.
Campaign, because that article could have also said Nick Kouvalis followed all the rules. He's done nothing illegal and nothing unethical. But that's not.
You really want the Toronto Star to write honest pieces? Is that?
But I'm their pollster. I'm the Toronto Star's fucking pollster.
I've been working
for them for fucking like every month, giving them free work.
Dude, hold on, dude. Have you not listen, Nick? Hang on. Just before you get, and then I'll hand it over to James. Have you not learned anything about media, especially the Toronto Star? Their entire fucking goal is to sewer anybody they can, even if they work for them and with them, if it means someone will buy that shithole newspaper.
That's not true. What I would like but where this started, sorry for my long-winded answer, is that Richard Warnica and a couple of people at the Star really have a hard-on for this highway, the 413, and maybe their reasons are legitimate. They're worried about the woodpecker and the dragonfly, and no, they are. They really are worried about the woodpecker, the dragonfly, and a specific type of frog. And so they really have an axe to grind. They went after all those Italian developers that may or may not benefit if that highway builds, but they went after them all. So this guy Warnica was wanting to write a story on an issue that he obviously has strong feelings for, because it's not really news anymore. It's kind of like news and social justice all tied in together with some of these young journos. That's what they do. They like push their own little pet projects. So my lawyers slapped that down, right? I told them to go fuck off. My lawyers talked to their lawyers and said, what are you talking about? Like, this isn't in the registry. He's not lobbying on the 413. So then I'm assuming here, but he probably said to himself, well, I'll show that little prick Kouvalis. I'll do a story about how he's in some kind of gray zone, when I'm not in a gray zone. There's no conflict. I get paid to go to work, to tell people stuff they don't want to fucking hear, right? I get fucking yelled at and spears chucked at me. Okay. All right. I get death threats. I get text messages telling me the party's going to be destroyed, that I'm such a bad person. And then I go back again for more of a beating the next month. Okay. Like, there's no equity. No one owes me any favors. These guys don't talk to me like they used to. They used to be my friends, but they're not anymore.
So
I like Nick. I really like this guy.
Nick, is the idea, Nick, that like I'm just trying to understand the 413 thing. Is the idea that because of who you have a contract with, that it was a conflict to even advise or consult on the 413 because
his initial, sorry to cut you off, his initial email was like, Bot Construction could potentially get a contract. You know, this fucking highway, if it ever is built, right? If they ever find a way to take the force field that exists at the 400 highway that protects the Bradford bypass from being built, and the dragonflies bounce off and go back to Mississauga, and then over there they're going to die, right? Right? Okay. Like, so that highway, the 413, if it ever does get built, it'll be 12 years from now. Like, my client might be dead by then. I might fucking be dead by then. Like, how am I lobbying for contract? Do we honestly believe Doug Ford's going to be premier in 13 years?
I fucking hope not.
But you
seriously, because listen, I'm sitting here listening to you, enjoying the show, but he's a fucking moron.
No, he's
like,
not. No,
he has to be.
No, he's not.
Nick, he has to be. Then explain it to me. Like,
I tell you what, if the Liberals form government, you're going to be living in a box, riding a bike through a marshland.
That's not true.
Yeah, there's going to be so many. There's going to be so many
more woodpeckers
ankle biting you.
Yeah, there'll be more woodpeckers pecking at wood, and we'll have more dragonflies.
Anybody think about the dragonflies?
No, but I'm serious, dude. Like, it looks like this is what it looks like to me as someone who didn't know who you were till a couple weeks ago, and I've been following you, and you're talking about how you get your head kicked in. You stand up for yourself quite often. Like the reason why I know who you are is because you're a fucking savage on Twitter. Mm-hmm. This is the kind of stuff that you tweet. This is Michael Warner. God bless the guy and the work he's done. 30 people I've seen die in ICU COVID. 100 have been treated with disease. None returned to Canada on a private plane. Most got COVID at work. Are you suggesting that we should be more like Australia, South Korea, and the Atlantic provinces, while at the same time borders could not have been closed sooner? Border restrictions for non-residents could be tighter. A third of all travelers should not quarantine. And I'm like, that kind of makes some sense. And then I read this one. Someone's like, mind you, campaign research always skews towards PCs. It is, after all, run by Nick Kouvalis. I'm still curious if your mother had any other children that survived the abortion. Like,
that is awesome.
And you put out like 20 of these things in the span of a couple of days. It was all about abortion. And then you went into like a fucking partisan block fest. Every second tweet, there's this one, another partisan block. And you're sitting there smiling and laughing. And I think it's like, at first when I'm like, James, when we have this guy on, is he going to be pissed if I bring up these tweets? You're sitting there smiling and laughing. And I still don't know what to think. Like, is this guy insane?
Well, think about it this way. Those accounts that you just brought up, they're fake. They're bots, right? So bots don't have mothers, so mothers can't have abortions. So that's it. That's the end of it, right? Bot mothers can't have abortions.
Why did you just say that? Because I'm sure you told human beings that you should have been aborted too in the whole process.
Well,
like,
I heard the joke years ago, yes.
But is that why people, like, listen, in the court of public opinion, like, to go from not knowing who you were and then reading about you and knowing that you've been friends with the Ford family for a long time. You got my buddy John Tory elected. You've worked with all kinds of, I mean, it just looks like you're kind of a loose cannon. That's what it looks like to me.
No one ever hired me to be the director of communications. I'm just the pollster.
You. Hey, Nick, has anyone ever told you that you kind of look like a boxer? You do. You look like a boxer. Yeah, you just have a face of a guy that's been in like a
He's had his nose punched a few times.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that. Same thing. I was thinking the same thing, Nick.
Maybe like a hockey enforcer.
Hey, Nick, just out of curiosity, do you have a sense of the amount of times people actually listen to your advice? Because from the very few minutes I've been with you, it doesn't sound like people listen to you much.
They do when they want to win. And most times I've done this, we've won, but not every time. And sometimes they listen and sometimes they don't. It's their prerogative. And, you know, that's the part of the job that's difficult sometimes. But, you know, sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't. Depends where you sit in the order of the whole campaign structure and and how much influence you have with the people that have influence with the leader, and so it's all that stuff. It's all that stuff. Yeah, it's just.
So do you have any like any influence with Doug in regards to this golf thing? Because he came out and I laughed my head off. I watched the entire press conference. This was not your boss. This is Doug Ford. Doug Ford
Premier,
says, yeah, and I'm paraphrasing. The premier of the province is like, listen, I know how golf works. That's why we're not golfing. What happens is you go and you pick up your buddies and you're in the same car, and then you leave after golf and you go back and you carpool. He says, I talked to my friends. They told me this is how it works. Like, that's literally how the golf ban has come about. And we found that out today, that his buddies told him they carpool and probably shouldn't allow golfing because someone might get sick from it. Like,
no, but
are you not in his ear about the bullshit too?
Well, look, I mean, here's what the polling says, right? The polling says that, and I think it's in my research that you guys have access to from the Toronto Sun last week. Yeah. But the polling says about 60% of people in Ontario think it's not safe for in-person learning as of last week. That may change in a week, but as of last week. And so, schools are, last to close, first to open. How do you not open schools, open up golf, open up the yacht clubs for people to go sailing, open up the tennis courts? What happens 2 days later after you do that and you haven't opened up the basketballs because, man-on-man defense and heavy breathing and all that stuff, people playing on the courts? The next thing that's going to happen, like literally 2 days later, they're going to be like, oh, Doug Ford's a racist. He won't let the racialized communities play basketball, but he'll let his rich white friends play golf.
James, you nailed it the other day when we had the Mark on.
Yeah.
And as soon as you said it, I was like, yeah, you know what? Mm-hmm. He has to do a blanket ban.
Yeah. Just to bring Nick up to speed, what I said was that it would have looked a little white to exempt golf. Right.
Yeah, well, tennis and the yacht clubs, like the yacht clubs, the tennis and the golf. Go ahead, guys. Right? Like, so everyone's acting like they can't go outside and walk down the street. I got people like literally texting me saying, me and my sons, we can't go to the golf course, right? To golf. We're so upset that 22,000 people are riding their bikes on the lakeshore. Well, why don't you and your sons go to the lakeshore and ride your bikes?
Because what if they don't have bikes? What if all they have are golf clubs? Like, that's
so
the fucked up part of this whole thing.
So someone who has golf clubs and teenage boys who want to spend time with their father, that's what he said, right? If you believe that, they don't have bikes.
I don't know. I'm saying
I think everyone
is a fucking bike.
I think everyone is kind of like, in reality, what are we trying to do? We're trying to get to 1,000 cases a day. We're going to be there around June the 2nd, and then there'll be golf and sailing and whatever other extracurricular.
Yeah, but Nick, listen,
can be as white as we want.
Can I de-white this conversation just for a quick second?
Look at the four faces.
Yeah,
that would be
all these white guys. De-white this. Let me street this if I can. Here's the thing: is that Doug didn't listen to science when it came to implementing the second part of the lockdown. Didn't implement science when it came to trying to get people vaccinated. Didn't implement like if this science is that important to him, why didn't he listen to scientists when they said close down warehouses, give people sick days off so they can get fucking vaccinated? Science has been that's my point. Science should be dictating this. And science says 20 million different rounds of golf last year in North America, not one COVID incident, not one. So it just, to me, I would listen to what you say and I go, listen, of course, everybody can do anything they want. It doesn't matter. Like, it's just one activity. It's golf, right? I get that. But what you're saying is he's not listening to science. He's listening to what could happen socially if he decides to open up golf courses. He's worried about what it's going to look like and how it's going to come back to him racially.
Well, I think what we're looking at is, you see it in the polling. You have about 1 out of 5 people who want no restrictions or a lot less restrictions and everything opened up. You have 1/3 of people who think the restrictions we currently have are not enough. There needs to be even more. Right. And then you have about 4 out of 10 voters who say stick to the current plan. And so it's this tug and it's pull. Like, most doctors are saying open up the schools. Schools are safe. Let's go. The teachers are saying, though, You open up the schools, we're going to go get a court injunction. It's not safe. So he's trying to, do this all the time. And what I would do, and I know you're going to laugh at this, but like what he's been doing, like, okay, everyone's like, oh, the Atlantic bubble, look at how they did it. Well, they don't have fucking Buffalo International Airport, and they don't have Pearson International Airport. And the federal government fucking helped those provinces out there stop the flights from coming in because they all wanted the flight stopped, but they didn't do that here.
Isn't that just kind of like, listen,
well,
of all the infections and the main reason why we're in this fucking 100th lockdown, it has nothing to do with international flights.
Really?
Like not now. I don't know, but now, not here.
How did the variants get here to begin with?
It doesn't. I'm saying now,
the
like
fucking woodpeckers.
I'm telling you right now, woodpeckers and the dragonflies. That's how it got here. No, but of all the concerns that Doug has, and that's the one thing he seems to be most concerned about because it helps him politically, does it not?
Well, no,
to rail against the federal government, which is why you're saying this now, are you not?
But I don't think that he has only been concerned about that for months, right? In early December, Trudeau was like, these provinces, they better get ready, man. I don't know what they're doing. You remember the pylon on Doug Ford at Christmas Day and Boxing Day because the vaccination centers weren't open?
Yeah.
He's also been saying, where are the vaccines? Trudeau keeps saying, oh, vaccines. We have the most diverse vaccine portfolio in the world. The vaccine portfolio, there's so many million. We have 400 million vaccines for 35 million people. Where are they? Now they're finally coming.
Yeah.
Doug Ford's getting them out. So I think to be fair, let's be fair. There's four legs to this stool. 2 of them are provincial and 2 of them are federal. And who's the only politician that's actually apologized for going too far and done something wrong? Doug Ford, right? Justin Trudeau hasn't apologized for the lack of vaccines. He hasn't apologized.
Hold on. No. But he framed his apology like he was going too far the first time. He didn't apologize for putting us in this situation to begin with, Nick. Like and if you said you went in there with the poll results and you told him what he'd been doing wrong and he had fucked this up, which you started the conversation of today, good for you. I mean, if you went in there and you said, listen, the reason why we're here,
it's well documented that even before we got there, I was telling who would listen in my polling every week and every month in the Star that this is where we were going, right?
Right. And if we're here because of him, you can't give him any credit for saying sorry, we've gone too far this time when he didn't do anything the first fucking 3 times. Because that's not what he apologized for. He apologized because we were going to get put into this lockdown again, and he chose the economy over the health of human beings. That it's incredibly simple. And if you said you walked in and told him that, you would know that.
So Dean, right? Yeah. That's 2 parts. There's 2 parts. The province has to do better and has made mistakes on restrictions. Like when to put them in, how many, and how long to keep them. Oh shit, my lawnmower guys are here. I'm gonna have to move.
Now just turn the camera around. I want to see some guys mow some lawn. I haven't seen lawn mowed in a long time.
I'm gonna try. No. I'm walking.
Doesn't he look like a villain in a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie? Look at him.
Yeah, a little bit. Nice house though, by the way. Great little porch. Nice little wraparound porch you got there, Nick. I love it.
Thanks.
No, so do you understand what I'm saying? Like, we're sitting here battling or not battling, but talking about golf and how it's ridiculous that golfers can't golf, and it is fucking ridiculous. And then, the excuse that would come out of the PC party or the talking head for the PC party would then say, well, listen, we have to do this because we don't want to look like we're favoring any race or any racialized activity. So there's that. But listen, none of these conversations are happening if he had done the right thing the first time and the second time and the fucking third time, which he didn't. So, like, how is it then that he's hired you to? Is he hired you to spin this?
No, I'm not. I'm not on your show to spin.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, I'm not on your show to spin. I'm being pretty straightforward about it. Like, first of all, there's 4 pieces to this. There's the borders piece, and there's the getting the vaccines to the provinces piece, federal stuff. Then there's the provincial piece, which is distributing the vaccines that you have and not screwing that up and putting in the right measures at the right time. How is it that Quebec put in all of these measures, quote, at the right time, yet so many more people died in Quebec? How is that possible? Like a smaller population. No one's talking about Legault right? No one's talking about Legault and how that government has handled the situation.
Well, I watched a press conference with Legault yesterday, and the Quebec government, I think, is getting ready to reopen almost the entire province. Like, there are a couple of hot spots, but yeah, we are talking about them because they did the right things. Like, they're coming out of this while we're.
Can we say that?
Today, your boy, they did.
Can
like, Doug
anybody
stood up
say
front
that
of everybody
anybody's
today.
done anything right, Dean? Honestly, I'm so fucking confused now. I mean, I have no idea what the fucking right. That's why I just sit and listen to these conversations and I want to run through a fucking wall because no one has the right answer. And whether or not fucking Doug did at what time, like, I don't even like the guy. I don't care for him. I watch him on TV and I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, what are you doing? Get out of fucking politics. And I hate Trudeau as well. And I fucking hate them all. I hate them all because they all seem to have fucking our best interests in mind. And they all seem to be lying to us. All of them. I'm not an expert online, but
guys, I'm sitting here with you guys today, and I'm like, look there's a shared responsibility, and that's what my polling is finding is that the public isn't putting up with this bullshit. They know that both guys are at fault.
Yeah.
And some of them, like 20% of them, 25% of them blame one guy, and 20 or 25% blame the other, but like 35% rather say, no, I blame them both equally. And the public, a lot of people think the public's dumb and they don't know the details, but the public's not dumb. They kind of got their finger on the pulse here. And it's what the gentleman who just spoke said. Like,
it's Coughlin crotch, Nick.
A pox on all their homes. We're not happy. Right? So look, we're coming out of this too. I think we're really close, June 2nd, and you can get together with your rich buddies and go to the yacht club and drink chin chin and have some fun.
Well, I wanted to ask a quick question about the AstraZeneca. I don't know what you would call it, like the discontinuing of use of using that vaccine for people like me, and I think. If I'm not mistaken, Lachlan and Dean as well, we're first dosers. And now, at least for Dean and myself, actually, no, isn't it just Alberta and Ontario that are suspending?
Saskatchewan too. Yeah.
Saskatchewan, Alberta, and Ontario have all suspended the next or the use of first dose AstraZeneca, which I think means they're still contemplating possibly using the second dose, James.
Right.
So it's not.
Yeah. I was going to ask Nick if that was a reaction to polling or if it was just coincidental that it was the three conservative premiers who have a base that don't really believe in vaccines, a part of their base at least that don't really believe in vaccines. Are they responding to that, or are they just like, what's the deal there?
No, I can't speak to the polling on AstraZeneca, good or bad, because I haven't polled on it. But if you look at the polling that you've got there from last week, there is this, like you just said it, right? Like, people just assume that there's anti-vaxxers and they're all conservative. But if you look carefully at vaccine uptake, who wants the vaccine right away, who's hesitating, it's the same across all party lines. It's like there's no difference. So the reason why 3 provinces have done that is because 3 provinces have done it. I suspect more will. I don't think the provinces, though, from what I heard today, from what Dr. Williams said at the press conference, they're not stopping people who had their first dose from getting their second dose. They're just
that's what I was saying. Yeah. I think because they're saying that if you got the first dose and you got through the first 2 weeks, you're probably not going to have an issue with whatever causes the blood clotting. So that, but I think they want to wait and do a few more studies on that. But the first dose, the rare blood clotting, they wanted to stop that, right? So, Hey, I have a question, Nick. In your research, in your polling that you've done, is there anything that you've asked where you look at the results and go, "Oh fuck, we're doomed. It's all over. I'm just going to drive into the lake. Fuck the woodpeckers. Fuck the
dragonflies.
The dragonflies. It's over."
No. In my polling, like in Ontario or across the country, or
What was the name of
anything.
that conservative candidate again? The name I always forget. The woman that ran the mega campaign.
Oh,
John
Kelly
Flaherty's
Leach.
photos?
Kelly
Yeah,
Leach.
Kelly Leach.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be one?
Well, I used to drop F-bombs every fucking day on that campaign. Because
So
I
did-
was on that campaign.
Yeah, that looked like a lot of fun, eh? As soon as I remember when you quit, because I don't remember, but I remember the person that was working with her quit, which was you, and then I was reading about why you quit, and you said when the person who's supporting the candidate becomes the newsmaker, it's time to walk away, something like that.
That was because I was just going out of my mind with her and other things, and I started drinking again, and that was a mess.
Yeah. Good for you for quitting, dude.
If there was ever a reason to drink, it's the Kelly Leach campaign.
All right, I'll add
He's
that to my list.
He's awfully quiet now. He's just like,
Well, you know, the drinking thing is a problem, right? So, I mean, I've been pretty good for a while, but that campaign was not good.
When'd you quit?
Oh, on and off. It started in 2013. I haven't had a drink in just about a year now.
Congratulations. Why'd
Good
you
for you,
quit?
Nick.
Yeah. Thanks.
Why'd you quit?
Why?
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's fun for the first 2 days, but day 3 to day 7 gets pretty shitty, and then it's a big problem. So
Day 3 to day 7.
That's called the Lachlan schedule.
I was good the first 2 days. It was the next 12 that really took me down. Yeah, I get
That's
that
why
one.
you got to work towards functioning, right?
No, some of us can't do that. Like I'm with Nick. I'm in the no drink club, and the reason why I'm in the no drink club is probably the same reason. Is like you're like day 2 is not bad, but this hangover's killing me. Maybe I should dig into this, have a couple cocktails, hair the dog, see where we go, and 4 or 5 days later, you're like, I'm as miserable as I've ever been, and I want to die. So maybe I should do something about it. Does that make sense?
yeah, well, I don't know about the I want to die part. I just start lashing out at people on Twitter and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm looking at your tweets from the past week.
I'm surprised you didn't mention the tweet. I called that constitutional professor CUCK on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. McFarland.
Everybody lost their minds.
Yeah, but you apologize for it, so I'm good.
Yeah, I apologize because I shouldn't have done that.
Were you drinking when you called him a cuck?
He is a pretty big jerk off, though, right? He is.
We're gonna get an apology tweet in about 10 minutes, I think.
No, I'm not apologizing for that. I didn't know what CUCK. Everyone's into porn. I'm not into porn. I didn't know what it meant.
It's a harmless word. It just meant that whoever you were tweeting, likes to watch his wife have sex with other men. That's it.
Yeah, I thought it meant traitor because it does also mean that, and that's what I used it as.
Depending on your nationality, it has different. It's different variations of the word, right?
Well, the French version of a cuck is a voyeur, by the way.
As soon as someone texted me what it meant, I apologized, and that was that. And I am really sorry. I still regret doing it.
But he's still a jerk off. He's a fucking jerk off, though.
If Twitter didn't have 140 characters, I would have wrote the word traitor.
Well, good for you. Good for you, as you should. Yeah. Do you get in trouble?
Watcher.
Listen, me too. I'm a bit of a watcher. Do you get in trouble from people that you work with because you're so fucking outspoken?
My business partner is going to beat the living daylights out of me at the end of this interview today.
Yeah, but he's a jerk off too, so fuck that guy.
No, he's a good guy, but he is not going to be happy.
Well, at least you're telling the truth, dude. That's what I like. That's why I wanted to talk to you, right? Like I'm watching you in this colorful personality, just shit on people day to day online, and I'm like, I can't pin this guy down. Like I couldn't figure it out. But it is just in you, I guess. Like maybe you're a fighter. I don't know. It appears you're Greek. Is there something to it? I mean, I don't know.
Well, look, I mean, there's not something to it. I mean, it's just, I don't think I'm a fighter. I just think I call people out on stuff. Like things were pretty good and pretty quiet until the Toronto Star reporter, the new guy, right? I call him the new guy because he just came from the National Post. and he wanted to do this story on the 413, which got my blood boiling because I'm not trying to win some company a contract 14 years from now for a 413. Like it just pissed me off. So then he was mad because my lawyers talked to their lawyers and stopped them. And so then he went off and he basically wrote an article that somehow I'm breaking the rules and I'm doing, like, when are they going to write a story about all the other freaking pollsters out there that do what I do? They won't.
Yeah, but no one's as colorful as you, Nick.
Yeah.
You know, like they're coming after you because you go after them, right?
It's
like,
fun.
You got to understand. If you're going to put your dick out there and swing it around, expect at some point in time someone to come and slap it a little
that's
bit,
why
right?
I got the nose that I got. So and I'm not complaining about it. You guys said come on my show. I said, okay, let's come on. Like, come on. You've asked me some questions. I don't know if there's anything else that's deep or dark you want to get into, but like, I'm here to take the questions and try to give you the most honest answer I can.
To be honest, I think really, like, you know, there's a difference between what a person appears like when they're on Twitter and, you know, all the partisan rhetoric that's on Twitter. So you're the conservative in the tank pollster and all this kind of stuff. But really, like, I think that if I can speak for all three of us, I have no issues with anything you've said. I don't think that you don't seem like a person who's like, you know, who's got some sort of corrupt existence or whatever. You know, you're a pollster. You do what you do, and there's lots of guys out there that are like you. The difference between you and like a Nick Nanos or an Ecos, whoever owns that place, is that, like Dean said, you like to get into the ring a little bit and you know, and rough things up with guys. And I actually think that's a positive trait from where I'm coming from. Like, you know, you're a human being. You're not just some mysterious man behind the polls, you know?
Yeah, like, and thanks for that. On that, Nanos is a different kind of pollster. He's blue chip, corporate. You know, you can put him on TV. He knows what tie to wear with what shirt and what jacket. Everyone likes him, and he's never gonna drop an F-bomb or do something stupid or whatever. That's who he is, and I'm proud of him, especially because he's Greek. The other guy you mentioned, yeah, because most Greeks, man, they can't even find a job, right? So, right. So I'm proud of
Nick
all
Kavalis,
the Greeks so, like, you know, like, I'm thinking about all my family back home that are really struggling to find work right now, right? They're really struggling. They've been in lockdown a long time. So, you know, I think about the other guy you mentioned, whoever runs Ecos, that's Frank Graves. That guy likes to shake it up too, but you have to go on Twitter after 11 p.m.
when he's having his martini.
Well, no, we wouldn't know. No one ever talks about that.
Well, it's also. I mean, I'm just going to say what everyone's thinking. You look like a construction worker, not a pollster, right? Like, you look like.
Well, you know what? My mom was a single mom. Like, okay, so yeah, that's why I'm pissed off too, right? Like, grew up in welfare housing, single mom, 3 kids, worked my way up, worked hard, try to do my best, and that's why I fight back, because people who work hard and make it in life, you know, they need to be looked at and respected, and we need to help our kids figure out how to do that. And I see a lot of people cower to, like, the wokeness that's going on out there, and it pisses me off. And so sometimes I'll say something that 100 people are thinking, but they won't say it.
Yeah.
God bless you.
I noticed.
The reason why some
just like you guys, right?
Some Greek people can't get jobs is because they're just, you know, they're a little anal.
Oh, good one.
Come on.
Yeah, way to go.
Well,
way to go. Hey,
hey,
Nick.
All right, I'll see myself
Nick,
out.
have you been vaccinated yet?
No, so look, I want to be, but I can't be just yet because I have this very, very terrible and severe bee venom allergy.
Mm-hmm.
And so before
Dude, I told you not to tell anyone. I told you not before we went on air not to tell anyone because someone's going to put a beehive in your fucking mailbox now. You're gonna,
That's right, you did. And so look, and so because of that, I can't get the vaccine for COVID. Mind you, though, they're like, you can use half of this vaccine and half of that, but actually, like, I have to wait, get a few more bee venom shots in before all the killer bees come, and then I'm going to get the vaccine a couple months after.
Yeah, but you're not one of those crazy fucking batshit conservative, fringe rejects that's like, it's the mark of the beast. I'm not doing it. They're trying to control us.
I'm not an
brains.
anti-vaxxer. I'm not an anti-masker. I'm not any of those things.
Well, I have to check because the majority of them are conservative or have conservative leanings.
No, I don't think he just said they don't.
Yes,
they
do.
just said they're. That's the one takeaway that I've had from this, outside of those fucking woodpeckers, is that this is everyone. There's on all sides politically, and the sooner we get to that point where we are able to have that conversation, we can stop fucking beating our heads against a wall.
Well, that's what I'm trying to ascertain.
I think it's important for guys like Nick to say that out loud, that there's just as many dicks that are liberals as there are right wings. Like it's across the board. And I believe that. I believe what Nick is saying.
I haven't met one Trudeau voter that has said, I'm not getting the vaccine because there's something in it that will turn me into a human antenna. Not one.
7 to 9% of the Canadian population says that, thinks what you just said about the vaccine.
Yeah.
Okay. So 7 to 9% of conservatives, 7 to 9% of liberals think the same way.
Well, hold on.
It's not weighted in one direction.
No. It's the same, right? The people in the Green Party, believe it or not, the people in the Green Party have the most supporters who are anti-vax. Greens.
That's right. And
that doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me. I used to live in Kensington Market, and Kensington Market is the land of the far left. Okay, and they have like graffiti that says, "If voting changed anything, they'd make it illegal." And on my Facebook feed, people that my neighbors, my old neighbors from that neighborhood, are uniformly anti-vaxxers, and they're all hardcore lefties. So they're just quieter, and the press doesn't cover them as much.
The chicks in that group have armpit hair, James? So those women you're talking about? Yeah.
That would be correct, Dean.
That's what I thought.
Guy Randy Hillier used to be for 15 years, someone I talk to once every couple of weeks. I haven't spoken to him since he started this bullshit that he's doing. Just because I disagree with what he's doing. I don't think, if he wants to move public opinion, there are ways to do that. To have information come out, make your case, but to have rallies and thumb your nose at the police, just like the Black Lives Matter protesters during the pandemic. I wasn't happy to see them either out there. But you know what? Because the media, 2/3 of them are woke social justice warriors. One was okay and one wasn't. I believe everybody has the right to protest. I all think they're dumb to do it when we're telling them that this thing is contagious and they shouldn't do it. But they have the right to do it. Both Randy and the lefties have the right to do it. And but I can tell you, I haven't spoken to Randy in months. I think what he's doing is stupid. I'm so disappointed and to be honest, thoroughly disgusted with his behavior.
Yeah.
It's funny how much common ground you just made with Dean.
No, and so the funny thing is that when we had Randy on the program not long ago, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the conversation with him. He would be, if I didn't know that the cheese was completely off the fucking mental cracker, I would sit there with a guy like that in a pub and glean stories from him, ask stories about this, tell me about that. That's the kind of guy that you would want to be regaled by in an hour-long conversation, right? And so when I ask people these questions and we put it to Randy, where do you come from? His hang-up's all religious. The whole thing is about Jesus and God and not getting vaccinated because of the sign of the beast. So I immediately discount the crazy religious people in that regard. But that's the crazy part, is that, all of these people that we're talking about, like the Randy Hilliers of the world, I enjoy talking to them, but I can't take any of them fucking seriously in a conversation because I know they come from a place of crazy. That makes no sense to me. None.
I don't know what to say. I'm sorry, Dean.
There's nothing to say.
I think Randy was good to come on your show. He should do more shows like yours to get his views across because he's allowed to have them. And I think having rallies, look at, I got out of the car and these guys are still cutting grass now.
That's okay.
Almost done. I'm sorry if it's too noisy.
Dude, don't worry about it. Yeah.
So what's the show like? Tell me more about your show and what you guys are doing, what you guys are planning to do down the road here. Because we're going to have the restrictions lifted. We're gonna have golf. We're gonna have basketball. We're gonna try to have like a normal summer minus the rock concerts and baseball games and shit like that. But we're gonna be back to normal soon.
Well, we hope to have Doug Ford on the show.
Yep. I'd love to have him on. I don't know why he's hiding. Dude, he's hiding. You know he's hiding, right, Nick? Where's he hiding? Where's he been?
Tim
At
Hortons.
his mom's house.
No. Why are you laughing? I want to know where he's been.
Well, you want to know why I'm laughing? Because
Yeah.
today at the press conference, the reporter was like, "So why haven't you been doing press conferences?" He's like, "I'm right here." Now I could see him on the TV. He didn't say that, but that's what he was thinking. Like, I'm right here at a press conference.
Yeah, but I mean, he bigged himself up saying, "I've been in front of this camera more than any other premier," but like he hasn't been anywhere for the past couple of weeks since we've been put under this lockdown, and he was exposed to a staffer that had COVID. So like it just, I don't know. I would love to hear from him. I would love to talk to him. I would love to find out exactly.
Yeah, Justin Trudeau was like cleaning the curtains for 3 fucking months. Then he came outside to the podium every day.
We said the same things. Dude, we said the same things about him, that he was hiding in the cottage. I think he's a fucking useless individual as well. Like,
I don't want to get on your bad side, but you're not penetrating.
I'm not going to suspend the Greek joke. So just go ahead.
Anyway.
That's about the 15th time I've tried to not say that's what she said.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. It's been a really, really tough fucking pod for me. Yeah.
It's been good. I've enjoyed it. Nick, we'll let you go. But listen, we've been hard on, and I'm only talking to you about Ford because you work with the same party that he's the premier of, right? So, and he's in charge of. So that's why I'm asking you about him and his failings. If we had someone that was, connected, and we had Nate Erskine Smith on this program, I took shit after shit after shit on Justin Trudeau. So it's not like it's mutually exclusive, right?
No. Listen, I really appreciate the opportunity to come on and be open about all of this stuff, and I'll come back if you'll have me.
Absolutely.
How about we do this? When Doug Ford wins the next majority government.
Oh my fucking God.
But he will.
He won't.
He will.
19% approval rating.
And he will, and we'll come back and we'll do this again. And you know what? Maybe we can actually go and like do the show on the new Scarborough subway that he just got the Liberals to pay $12 billion for.
That'll be in like 12 years. So if Nick, you're still around.
I think you brought up an interesting point, and I just want to make I sort of reinforce the point that you made. I think this is an interesting platform, and that's what I'm finding, because I come from traditional media, and Dean has been nice enough to let me jump onto these things on a daily basis. And the thing that I think people need to be aware of about what we do here is we have a discussion. We'll have a discussion with anybody, and we're not a soundbite show. It's wide the fuck open. So you got a guy like Randy who can actually have a point, make a point, and then they're not cutting little lines out of what he said and putting him in a box. And as much as I don't agree with Randy, he did well on this podcast. And then
you guys did well for having him.
Yeah.
But again, that's what Dean was saying. We'll have Doug Ford on. We'd have Justin Trudeau on. He probably wouldn't enjoy it, but we would have anybody that would want to come on. And again, we had that fucking lunatic Chris Sky on. Like,
who's that?
And
sort of.
Chris Sky is like this anti-vaxxer guy. He tattooed a bunch of dicks on his neck. Don't worry about it, Nick. It's okay.
He's crazy. He's running.
He also survived.
Yeah.
Procedure that his mother went through.
Yeah. You would have loved to tweet him about family planning.
It'll ruin your day.
Yeah,
it'll ruin your fucking day.
He would have been the target of one of your tweets.
Sobriety.
Yeah. They're gonna put. He's gonna put campaign research on Yelp and just start voting down. And
no, but you know what? And to further what Locke says, and just to let you go, Nick, and I appreciate it. Is we want answers. Like I don't judge anybody before I meet them. I made a habit of doing that in the past, of saying I don't like someone because of what they've tweeted or what they've said. So the fact that you've afforded us an hour of your time today to sit and talk about stuff that we had questions about, that we think reflect what a lot of people in this province and across this country have questions about, and the fact that we can dig into the mind of a pollster and learn how it works, and that you've donated this time to us means a great deal to us, Nick. So we'd be happy to have you back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No problem.
All right.
Nick Kouvalis, he's a PC pollster. Doesn't work for Doug Ford, but works for the caucus.
I fucking liked him.
I did too.
I am cool. A fan. I am a.
Do you know why I liked him?
Huge fan.
Do you know why I liked him? Is because he knew that we were going to talk about the tweets. He knew we were going to talk about the shit that he said. He knew we were going to get into his past, and he was like, "I'm in. Let's do it. I don't care. I don't live scared."
The dude's a street fighter. Like he's I'm not talking about how he looks anymore. Although you have to admit he does look like something other than a pollster. Like if you ran into him in a dark alley,
way to negatively stereotype him. Good job.
I'm just saying
not
he
do
looks
that.
like a tough guy. Like I wouldn't want to be in caucus services and being like, listen, Nick, I think you might be a little bit incorrect about the I would.
He does look like James has got a point. He does look like the guy that would get cast as the bad guy in the boxing movie.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
He does.
But smart cat, and whether you agree or disagree with people's politics, things they say, where they come from, what they do, being accountable to a conversation is really fucking hard in 2021, and I give him full marks for that.
And he was he's reasonable. Yeah. He's not an anti-masker. He's not an anti-vaxxer. No. He's not like, he doesn't scream like conservative values and all that. He understood that Kelly Leach was an extremist and he quit her campaign. So it's just funny. Like
he also was in Doug Ford's office going, listen, you need to get more severe with the lockdowns, and admitted it. And that's not a conservative view. The conservative view is let's open everything up. So he's going against the grain with the party he's polling and getting pissed off at them because they're not listening to what he's saying about the research and the results that he's presenting in front of them on a daily basis.
Because what he's trying to tell them is that the conservative view is not to open everything up. He's trying to tell them, like, look, it may look like that on social media, but what the numbers are suggesting is that the liberals and conservatives feel the same about this shit, and they both either want the lockdowns to sort of stay where they are or get more restrictive. And that's
we do it on this pod all the time, and I loved hearing him say that. Listen, you'd be surprised about how the liberals are thinking about this.
Yeah,
and it's equally spread out between liberals, conservatives, the Green Party, the NDP. I mean, there's equal number of anti-vaxxers in every party.
Yep.
We all seem to put a hat on. You're refusing to buy in, James, and even Dean is like. You guys are pushing back.
It's not that I'm refusing to buy into the fact that the majority. I believe in my experiences dictate that the people who had really serious issues and still do with any accountability to this pandemic are white suburban farming Christian hicks, just fucking losers. And
you know what?
Like the kind of person that when I grew up, I fucking hated because they pretended to be Sunday Christians while they went out and denied their lifestyle by being assholes for 6 days of the week. So those people are traditionally conservative. That's what I see in Alberta. That's what I see across the country. And for him to give us that information is one thing. For us to vet it is another, right? Like, I don't know that I necessarily
he's
believe.
Fucking vetting it, though.
No, hold on a second.
He's doing it for conservatives.
Bolster.
For conservatives.
Hold on a second. When he quoted that 7 to 9%, and he said across the board, Dean, you asked him if it was weighted equally. And he went to the fact that it's like, if you look at the Green Party supporters, that a lot of them. So I don't think it's weighted equally. I think the far left, which are not generally liberal supporters, I think the far left and the far right are probably what he's talking about. And maybe, I could be wrong, but I don't remember exactly what he said, but if he said liberal and conservative, he might not have meant party. He might have meant ideology, because then
I think he was talking ideology.
Yeah, because he went straight for Green Party. So the far left are anti-vaxxers because the far left were the original 9/11 truthers. right? It was not the far right that was talking about 9/11 being an inside job. So there's like those people.
I don't know.
are
Alex
now
Jones is pretty far right, and he was all up in that shit too. Like,
well, no,
that's-
he became far right because it suited him economically when Obama got elected. But before that, I don't recall him ever being like, yes to Christian values and stuff like he is now. I think he is now. No one knows.
I think that suit fits him really, really well. And I think when he looked in the mirror, he kind of liked it, right? That's my guess. But here's my thing. We have way too many conversations about right, left, liberal, conservative. As far as I'm concerned, you put 100 people in a room, you're going to have a certain number of assholes. You take those 100 people out, put another fucking 100 people in the room, you're going to have the same amount of assholes. Like, I mean, that's the problem that we live in right now is we have too many conversations like this. And again, that's why I don't even know what to say anymore. Like the last couple of weeks, it's just been, is Kenny doing the right thing? I don't fucking know. Is Ford doing the right thing? I don't know. Is BC doing it? Like, I don't know anymore.
But can't you find that out by living the life that we're all living right now? Like you're in Alberta, Locke, and I've been
following the rules, okay, and I haven't got COVID.
No, I'm not saying that.
Shrunk my. I know you're not blaming me.
No, I'm not. But that's not what I'm saying either. What I'm saying is, we're in a lockdown in Ontario. It is 15 months after the fact, and we're back in it. On Alberta, same thing. Alberta's per capita, I think it's between Manitoba and Alberta
our
for the worst.
infection rate is over 10%, and it's been like that for like 2 straight weeks. So to me, that's the answer. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, we draw conclusions about parties because we go, oh, it's Alberta, Kenny's conservative, so let's fucking hate conservatives. I don't hate conservatives. I don't identify with anybody who says I'm right or left. I fucking don't want to ever sit and talk to somebody who says, hi, I'm a liberal. How are you? Or hi, I'm a conservative. Or hi, I'm a socialist. How are you? Anybody who identifies their human being with a political party can suck my dick. That's how I feel.
How you doing, son?
I really do. I really do. Yeah, my kids just walked down. Sorry, guys. They're older. It's okay. But that's how I feel because I've been so fucking grossed out and turned off by everybody. And Nick started to do it, but I get it. He gets paid by the Conservative Caucus. He's like, well, what about Trudeau? And then he would kind of go back and settle into it's four legs to this stool. 2 are federal, 2 are provincial. And he calmed the conversation down a little bit. But I don't give a fuck who you vote for or who you like. What I care about is, do you believe in facts or not? Like, where's the truth and where's the middle? That's what I want. That's what I want for my life. That's how I want to be able to go through my life. That's how I want to choose who I vote for. That's how I want to choose who I believe in. Are they talking about factual things? Are they telling me the truth?
But
Doug Ford hasn't told us the truth.
But in that
for a year and a half,
about facts,
and neither
or not,
has Jason Kenney. He hasn't told you the truth either. And
none of them have. None of them have.
And going, well, in Nova Scotia, in Newfoundland, PEI,
they have a lot
honest.
easier jobs. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but they've been honest. You know, they've been at BC. Bonnie Henry, she's been pretty honest. I don't know much about the dude Scott Moe in Saskatchewan. No idea. I don't know anything about the dude in Manitoba. But I'm talking about the people, right? The people. Fuck the parties. Fuck who you vote for. I don't give a shit. The people that we have in these positions have kind of boiled frogs their way to this the lockdowns and the bullshit that we've had to deal with this whole time.
I think,
you know what's funny? I asked Nick
rooms
on the phone.
What's that?
Go ahead.
Go, James. Go, James.
I was just going to say, I asked Nick on the phone a couple days ago if and it's kind of an old question that people used to ask, that, you know, that conservative pollster out of the States called Frank Luntz. He's the guy that like creates new terms for the Republicans so they can win issues. So instead of a state tax, he like coined the term death tax so that all the conservatives would be against it. But I asked him, do polls reflect public opinion or are they used to move public opinion? And he said reflect, even though his job is to show them the data and how they can use that data to move voters to the Conservative Party. So it's an interesting mix of, you know, it gets a little murky, you know.
That's what it does. But, you know, we will always have the opinion that I was under the opinion that pollsters were all non-bias. Like they didn't work for political parties up until about a year and a half ago.
That's not true.
And So they're, you know, like, it's not
Well,
that
they
he
have-
gets paid to lie, but I think pollsters in general get paid to spin analytics in favor of public opinion.
I think
which,
they tell them how to use the real data. They have to rely on getting the good data so that they can utilize that data for the benefit of the party. If the data's flawed, you can't build a strategy on top of it.
Right.
So the dishonesty comes with like, okay, so turns out a lot of our conservative voters disagree with issue X, but our donors really like issue X. So how can we move the voters to think more like the donors by using real data? So it becomes really
it's manipulative,
almost,
right?
yeah, it's diabolical.
Pollsters get paid to manipulate information. That's what they do. I don't want to talk about that anymore. I want to talk about this.
Oh, woosha.
Look,
Kingston
at
Clarence
Lachlan's
Clarence Cross.
new
KC, what's up?
fucking puppy. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
How incredible is this guy?
You know what, Dean? I gotta say, because we never had a dog, right? I had dogs when I grew up, and I have some trauma on losing them. There was more than a couple of stories. We don't need to get into it. And then when I had kids, we talked about it, and we moved so much for radio. And then they got to a certain point where they were so busy. I was like, they're out 6 days a week, 7 days a week. We're not getting a fucking dog. We're just not. And I was busy. The wife's busy. And then the girls are back now because of COVID. And they're both not, well, one's working and the other one's looking for a job, but they're both, around, and we've got some bodies to help.
You're working
take care
from
of
home. Wife's working from home.
Yeah,
kind of.
and so we're just around more, and so the wife started bringing up the puppy thing, and so we started to look, and we found this little guy. We have a friend that had a silver lab. They got a silver lab in Winnipeg, and we're posting pictures, and she fell in love with the dog. They're gorgeous dogs. They got great color, and
Look at his eyes.
labs.
His eyes are like ice blue.
Yeah. Apparently after a year or two, they go amber too. And so they look really cool, but yeah. And he is
Do they go blind? Do they go blind when they get older, like with old age and stuff? Is that
a lab thing? I'm not
I thought
sure.
it was a blue eye thing for dogs.
Oh, I don't know about that, to be honest. That's the first I've heard
You should
of
probably
that.
go talk to the breeder, because you might want to. If
We
they
got
end
an
up going blind,
appointment.
you might want some money back.
We are going to the vet next week, I think. He's already had his first round of shots. So he's got his first vaccination, and he's got his second one, and then we can start taking him out and meeting other dogs and stuff. But yeah,
That's all I want.
he's a great dog, man. I mean, he's
Does he
been
sleep
keeping
with you?
us. No. We got a kennel downstairs, so we're trying to kennel get him used to that, and he's
Crate
fine.
training.
Great training, so he's fine with it, and he's eating like crazy, growing like crazy, and it's just fun. It's man, we just sit outside and watch him run around. It's
Check
amazing.
stuff out, right? Because he's so new. Everything's new
Yeah.
to this guy. Like it's incredible. Is he a cuddler? Does he cuddle?
Oh yeah,
Is he,
He cuddles with mom.
Does he? That's
really
bullshit.
likes mom. Yeah. And he likes to play with me and the girls more, right? But
Yeah.
he
But he
mom
goes
picks
to
him
mom.
up. He
You're
goes
supposed
to
to.
mom.
I was talking to a friend of mine that raises dogs, and he's like, if you feed them and you walk them, they'll go everywhere with you. So you got to walk them and feed them. If you're the person walking and feeding, you can literally separate him from your wife and make him your dog.
Just always
Well,
walk around with treats in your pocket and just
the wife
bacon.
the wife works from home and probably will be for a long time, and this is her dog. It's been well established, so she feeds him. I've been taking him for walks, which is not going so well so far. We were just going to the mailbox.
Do you get frustrated?
Well, no, it's hard to get frustrated with that guy.
Yeah, I don't.
He's just so fucking cute, man. Yeah, this has been amazing. I'm
for
so
you.
glad. We have no regrets. He's a bit of a shitter right now. Oh, and he likes beer. He tipped my beer over yesterday. I was in the backyard. It's nice here. And he was going nuts. I'd taken it away, but I felt bad because he was enjoying it so much.
Good for him. That is your
Yeah.
dog.
He found a love for Bud Light. Yeah.
Well, I'm really
7
happy
weeks in.
for you, because it's like anytime someone I know gets a dog, I feel like I got a dog. So like you know, I know you told me you were getting a dog about a month ago, and then you started sending me pictures, and I'm like, tell me more about the dog. I want to know more because I'm like, I feel lost without a dog, and I've been trying to adopt a dog.
Yeah, you should get a dog.
I've been home, like this is all I do is stay at home and I work, and so
Yeah.
I was thinking, I just need to get a dog for me. But the
I
time
think it'd be really good for you, Dean. I think it
I
would
do
be
too.
awesome for you. Yeah.
I've tried to adopt a dog, and I had
It's
one
almost
lady call me
impossible.
back. Dude, I had one lady call me back, and she's like, yeah, we're not adopting dogs to you.
What?
I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, I know who you are, and we're not going to adopt a dog to you. And I'm like, you don't even have dogs there, do you? She goes, oh, we got lots of dogs. And I'm like, now you're just trying to hurt me. Like, would you have puppies? She goes, we got lots of puppies, but we're not giving you one. And I'm like,
Did you ask why?
mean. Yeah, because I'm me. She thought I was a mean person. Mean
Well,
radio
he's
guy.
right
She's
about
like,
that, but you're not mean to dogs.
No, I'm not mean to people either
I'm just kidding.
anymore.
Since Tuesday.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get one, but I'm not gonna
Get-
get one from that bitch.
Get a puppy. You got to get a puppy. It's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah.
They make you feel bad though. Like you go to those TV commercials where you're like, I really want a dog, and then they're like, don't go to a pet store. Don't go get a puppy.
fuck
Go
that. Get a
Go
dog.
get one of these sick, disgusting looking animals that we've got caged in an SPCA commercial that is looking so fucking sad. Like that's what they do. They're like these little skinny dogs, and that's how they fucking make you go feel bad about buying a puppy. And all I do, I want a puppy, but like then you see the adoption commercials for the SPCA. It's like, look at this guy. We found him in someone's backyard, chained to a rubber tire.
Yeah.
He hasn't eaten in months. Can you come get him? I'm like, I'm on my way. And then they call me back, like, we're not giving you a fucking dog. I'm like, what are you talking about? I want to help. I want to be part of the solution.
Yeah. There is shame. There is adoption shame, right? If you buy, and that's what we did. We went to a breeder, but we tried. We put our name on like 4 or 5 different web pages, and we didn't even get.
To you.
They never got back to us, not once.
Dude, I think
Right?
I think a dog adoption agency is just data collection. Like, I don't even think some of these people are like fucking dog. Like, I was reading a story about Donald Trump's dog adoption fund. Did you hear about this? Raised like
No.
$4.5 million for this dog adoption thing. Not only was there no dogs to adopt, there was no adoption agency. He was just using it to fucking collect people's information and make some money. So every time you said, "Oh, look, we're gonna help some dogs," oh, look at that. See, that's
Oh, there we go.
ugliest dogs I've ever seen.
That was a rescue.
Right there. Yeah, was that a rescue?
No,
For sure.
this is a full-bred border terrier. His name's Norman.
I doubt
And
that.
he's like the biggest pain in the ass dog ever because all he does is whine and pout
Yeah.
because he just wants to go outside and chase squirrels, and that's the only thing that he does.
Well, let's
But
let you go outside. He's not that cute, actually. It's not a great
What are you
looking
talking
dog.
about? He's Norman. Look at
He's
him.
a good looking dog. That's a
Norman.
good dog.
He's
Yeah.
not dude, Norman or this dog?
Well,
Look
my
at-
dog's 12.
Look at
so
Kingston.
my dog is 12. Come on.
Yeah.
I like
If
your
I
dog.
showed you a border terrier puppy, you'd be like, okay, well,
They're amazing. Yeah. Yeah. I
Wow.
saw a Great Dane puppy the other day. Somebody sent me. They got a Great Dane puppy coming in from the States, and holy shit, they're cute.
yeah, they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do anything with Great Danes either because you take them for they're gassed after a 3-minute walk.
Yeah. They're
Plus, they only
huge.
live to be like 6.
Yeah,
They die young. Yeah. Yeah.
massive shits too. Like that's the thing is when you're buying a dog, you want to make sure you're buying one that doesn't have shits the size of human turds.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
Great Danes do.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think bigger. Yeah.
Not bigger than mine. Not according to what I did today. I'll tell you that right now. That's it for us.
Services.
Have a great day, everybody. Coughlin Crotch. You can also get him at Lachlan Cross on Twitter. He's the host of the Locker Room, 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton, the morning show. That's why they call it the Locker Room. It's not just a clever name, as we like to point out.
Yeah. It takes a while. Sometimes
some people come up to you
pick
and go,
on that.
Oh, I get it. Your name's Lachlan. That's why
Yeah.
they called it the Locker Room, because
Yeah.
they call you Locker.
By the way, don't Google that hashtag or don't go on Twitter and look that hashtag up.
Why not?
Well, we discovered after we called the show the Locker Room. I'll let you guys do it. You can have
Well,
some
now
fun
we're doing it
tonight.
live. What do you mean? You Google it?
Just just go into Twitter and just put the hashtag Locker Room. Check it out.
Well, you're not going anywhere until I do it.
Oh, that's a gay thing, isn't it?
1 hour or two.
James is ahead of you.
1 hour or two.
Let's go photos.
No, Jimmy is trying to use science to explain this.
Oh, we
know
might
the
have a
truth.
lot of stuff up there, right? Because we hashtagged the shit out of that locker room, but if you keep digging, you'll find lots of male locker room
Oh,
stuff.
there you go. There you go.
What am I
Some
looking
ham
at?
slamming. I'm not talking about it. There you go. Saw some ham slam. That's what I saw right there.
Somebody
That's
pointed
good.
that out to me after I started using the hashtag for about a month. You realize that that takes you to some
Sweet
interesting corners of the internet. Hey, locker.
Oh,
Interesting
Jesus
caves
Christ.
of the web. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
there you go. Right. Yeah, some slam ham. That's right there. Yeah. All
A
right,
lot of
that's it for us.
lot of fraudage going on. Okay, anyways.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. I think I even saw like a toilet
each his
paper
own.
roll. I think I saw a toilet paper roll in a sock in one of the pictures. I was like, I don't want to. I can't have them good.
Oh, there's a brony. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not a brownie. Have a great day. Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM, James DiFiore, blackballmedia.ca is where you can find him at James DiFiore on Twitter, and his podcast called Blackballed with James DiFiore. I think he just interviewed Nick Gillespie, proud libertarian. Yeah.
Mhm. Not
So
crazy.
go check it out, DeanBlundell.com. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks, boys.
Thanks, guys.
See you Monday.
See you Monday. Yeah, that's it for
Monday?
us this week. Yeah, Monday. Tomorrow's a
That was a
blog
fun
day.
week, boys. That was a fun week.
It was a great week. Congrats on the dog, too. It's awesome. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks to Nick Kuvalis for joining us today. That was a lot of fun. Thanks to Locker. And James will be back on Monday because we own it. We don't work Fridays. No, I work Fridays. Just too busy. Can't do all these shows in 1 week. Well, I could, but I just don't feel like it. You know how it goes. Anyway, thanks to Nick. Thanks for everybody for being here. Appreciate it. Big shout out to our sponsors, Black Rose Organics. If you would like yourself a medical license, go to shop.blackroseorganics.com today. Medical cannabis, it's the way of the future. Relieve pain, get a good night's sleep, or just feel like an all-around savage with their 30% THC garlic sherbet. They have it now. It is medicine that works. You can get your medical license there. Sign up for your membership today. It's $200. Then you'll get half-price ounces for the rest of the year. That's what they do, medicine that works. And if you don't have a card, they'll get you one. Everything that I've just told you about is available at shop.blackroseorganics.com. Thanks to Ed's Fine Imports and his Gitch. We wear it, so should you. It is boxer briefs with the pouch in the front. Luxury underwear, fellas. It's seamless, too. It's incredible. The band is awesome. Super light, super breathable, and still keep everything where it should be, if you know what I'm saying. Ed's Gitch, Gitch. Promo code is Gitch, then the number 3. You get 4 pairs for the price of 3 when you order from edsfineimports.com. Domination.com, it's AI that we use to produce all of our content. You should do the same thing. If you're in the content game, it takes like 5 minutes to do 75 pieces. Try it for free today at domination.com, dmntn.com. My friend Adam's in charge. Great dude. Great dude. Great. One of the greatest guys you'll ever meet. And he's super, super nerdy, too. So he came up with his AI to help people like us because he loves doing content as well. Domination.com, dmntn.com. And Easy Auto Financial, our friends at Easy Auto Financial. They're in the game of putting you in a car and getting you leasing for that car and then sending you to the dealership to get that car. They'll do everything for you. All you have to do is go to easyautofinancial.ca. If your credit rating isn't good, they don't care. They just want to get you some financing, and they want you to go and buy the car you want. easyautofinancial.ca. Again, easyautofinancial.ca. That's it for me. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for listening. You can sign up for a newsletter at deanblundell.com. Thanks to Nick for being here again. And the boys. See you Monday. Bye. What kind of meat do you want on said submarine?
All of a sudden, he's German.
Would you like a cold cut combo?